trying to stay out of politics, but it seems kind of unavoidable sometimes. I wonder what you guys think about something I've been struggling with is how to reconcile politics with my spirituality, I guess. Usually those two don't mix well, but I've been trying to understand, if that's kind of part of the problem with modern politics, is that spirituality's been sort of removed from the discussion. That's where I've been at lately, is just trying to understand, what people are going through with the political situation. And I guess, I've been trying to push back on that because I feel like the problem in politics is a spiritual problem. I know religion has its problems, especially, modern Christianity. But, back in the day, people's religious beliefs were sort of at the ground of their politics. Their political beliefs sort of grew out of their spiritual beliefs. And nowadays, as somebody who was an atheist and sort of a secularist for most of my life, I can relate to why, it does seem like your average liberal person is not necessarily religious, and that means that their politics are driven by a political philosophy rather than a religious belief. I've been trying to do a video that's more about solutions, because these things are cool and interesting, and the chart is very, it's very trippy and eye-catching, but it's not necessarily useful unless you can use it to mitigate suffering to some degree. I feel like he's saying, people used to have the Ten Commandments as sort of the ground of their belief system, that then politics then grew out of that, but we're at this point now where everybody's so far from a shared story, and that's why I really love, when I was trying to decide what to call this YouTube channel, I kind of realized, that's part of the problem, is that we don't have a shared story as a culture. We're liberal, we're conservative, we're all these other things. Even a lot of Christians can't agree on what the shared story is. They're going to debate different aspects of the Bible. But that's what I've been seeing as the real value of something like the chart, because it can try to bridge that gap, even between atheists and religious people. If you're talking to a Christian and you come from a background like mine, it's hard to communicate. Once I realized that these things all had corollaries with, secularism, if you can call it that, it made things a lot easier just in terms of trying to communicate. And I feel like, if you're a conservative or if you're a liberal and you're trying to have a conversation with people, you have to some degree, sort of figure out where you can meet in the middle. And that's why I think the first video I started talking about language, because if we can't agree on the meaning of words, it's just a nightmare to try to communicate. And I think some of that's intentional. I guess I'm looking for like-minded people who have struggled with the culture war, for instance, and trying to bridge that gap. Because, it is sort of disturbing that we've got two sides of a political spectrum right now that literally cannot communicate. Like they really just are not even using the same language. And as much as I want to keep it spiritual on this channel, like that does occupy a lot of my time. I am concerned, about the future. The culture war kind of infects everything, and it's affected my family, my wife's family. And it does kind of seem like if spirituality is capable of cutting through the communication problem, maybe we can move things forward somehow.